Okay, so, it's kind of been a while, because I've been doing a lot of work. Like, all the trees are gone. Welcome back, everyone, to Just Minecraft, where, yeah, it's been a while since I've done anything, not even just on this server and everything. I'm talking about, like, YouTube. And as you might be able to tell, I'm trying to take this at a bit more of a relaxed pace and everything. So, yeah, just welcome back. And I have some stuff that I want to get done and everything, because as you can see, my base, it's kind of, not much. That's not even mine. In fact, I didn't even build all of this stuff over here either. However, the server was kind of made only ever with the intention of lasting for, like, a year. And that year is up in about a week or so, which feels insane. So I kind of want to do some stuff and everything. I don't want to leave my base as just this. I mean, like, I'm not jealous that my friends have bigger bases or anything, like, you know. Huh. So I want to work on my base a little bit. And I think I have kind of a fun idea. So, like, my base has never really turned into what my idea was at the start of the season or anything. And that's just kind of because, well, I just sort of abandoned that idea. However, I still have sort of kept, like, the idea of I want to involve the boat somehow or something. Like, you know, we've got the boat there. That was my starter base. And it was always intended to be some sort of sailing thing. I don't know if it was going to be a port or like just a town, but either way, the boat was kind of always going to be part of it. I was never going to pave over any of this lake or anything like that, and I think I have a kind of fun idea now, because whilst the base is kind of small and everything, I have found that it does still have a focus, which is this building here. And I think that's kind of because, number one, it's the biggest building, and number two, it's the only one that gets any sort of motion with the bees in there and everything. And I kind of don't want it to be that, because I don't like that build. So I am kind of wondering about maybe transforming this island a little bit, which, as you can see, I went and deforested it all, and I completely forgot to record a flashback for it. So yeah, I kind of want to transform this central island and everything, and I think it'll take a while, but like, I've got a week. I can maybe do that. Actually, taking into consideration the fact that I have work and everything, let's see, what have I got? 2 days! I have 2 days to work on this, we should probably get started. And I think this might have to begin with some planning and everything. Time for a shopping spree. I am bankrupt. Okay, so here is my idea. We've got this little cave down here, and this is natural, but also, of course, it means that if I do want to work here, I don't need to do as much digging. So what I would maybe like to do is have a walkway which extends over to here, and then kind of goes into the cave here, and we can kind of bring it up and over through the hill. At which point, then I guess we've just kind of got like a nice little walkway which leads around the hill and everything like that, and we can have a little view over the farms and all of that sort of stuff. It'll look nice and pretty. But then, when we get over here, if we break the path off this way and stuff, I think we've got a nice opportunity to kind of do a dual peak sort of thing. So like, we have a mountain peak up here, and then another one all the way over here. And I think loop the path back around over here, going up the whole time. And then when we reach over here, there's maybe an opportunity to do a bridge going somewhere across. I'm thinking a hanging one could look good. As for what goes over here, I don't know. Maybe we just put a nice little building. That's great. I spent 5 diamonds on all of that wool and used 2 colours. They are the pretty colours, though. Now, I will admit that I do have 2 concerns about the idea. Number 1 being the size of it all, and number 2 being the colours, because the issue is my original base idea kind of involved the darker grass of the dark oak biome. However, now I feel like the idea that I'm describing feels more tropical. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do. I could make it a darker island and everything, or I could potentially try and use some wool and some moss. That might work better. I do think that I'm just going to need to deal with that when I come to it though. However, the other thing which I am going to need is a bunch of stone. And luckily, whilst I haven't exactly made a video on the server at all recently, I have actually been on it doing some mining. So let's see, we've got granite and there's stone. Plus a little bit of deep slate and I think some other blocks to work with. Yeah, we're gonna need more andesite though. For now, I do feel like I have an idea though, so I might just sort of get to work getting some resources and everything and actually build out a little bit of the framework. After that, I think I can discuss like the placement of different landmarks. That sounds like a plan to me though, so I am gonna go and get some andesite. Okay, so I was gonna start work on the island, but I've just received a very convenient offer right now, so I think we need to go and do some business. You got the stuff?
I have the conduit, as you can see.
Thank you.
And I have enough prismarine. Well, not exactly enough prismarine.
Yep, that's great.
Sort
oh,
of
there we go, finally.
I have like 2/3 of the prismarine needed to have like a full conduit. I didn't realize how much it actually needs, but...
Well, full conduit is... This should be enough. I am 90% sure this is enough.
90% sure, that's great, but I tried to make it before, and it's not, so, like...
Is it not? Oh, wait, no, this is... Ah, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you can finish that, but then you can't do the horizontal.
Yeah, you can't do the third one.
Yeah,
oh, disappear now in a puff of smoke. Look that way.
You don't give me extra editing work.
I am giving you extra editing work, or you turn around and there's still a puff of smoke. You just won't see it.
Right.
Yeah, cool. Look that way. Brilliant. Puff of smoke. I'm going.
Yeah, okay. Great. Okay. Yeah. Nice. You don't have to hide anymore.
Okay, so like, when I said I was gonna do some work, I didn't quite mean this much. But like, we have a big mountain now. Yeah, we've got quite a big mountain here. Genuinely, I don't know where the motivation to build this came from. I just did. And it looks nothing like I originally imagined it would and stuff. So like, initially it was just gonna be a big peak there and then a big peak there, except now it's curvy. Because whilst I was building it and everything, I was running into 2 issues. Number 1 was being like, you know, it kind of didn't feel pointy enough. Because the issue is, when trying to make a mountain and everything, obviously you've got to find a good ratio of how far across are you going up for like how far you're going in. And the issue that I was noticing is basically like I couldn't find a good match between it. And I think that this sort of hill is a good example example, like, it's not really that pointy, it's kind of melted. And that reason why is just because I didn't want to make it too tall, but in trying not to make it too tall, it just has a very low angle, so it just looks a bit deflated is all. So then, whilst I was building this one, I was like, okay, well, what if I can just reduce the size of the mountain a bit? Because initially, it was going to be all of this stone was going to be part of the mountain. Which is why I started putting in these little platforms and everything. Now, to be fair, that grass platform was always going to be there, but this one, this was just added to save space. Basically, by putting grass there, it meant I didn't need to expand the hill that much. But then, as I was free camming around it and everything, I kind of noticed it's looking a bit cartoony with all of the flat little landscapes and the different levels and everything, and that's not a bad thing. I still really like how it looks. But if it's looking cartoony, maybe I could lean into that? So now we just kind of have a Tim Burton mountain and everything. It just curls over at the top, and honestly, I really love it. And like, is it weird? Yes, but like, well, that's me. So, I don't know, the plan has already changed absolutely massively from what it was and everything. We're no longer just a big pointy peak, now we're kind of a bit floppy. So that's where we're at right now and everything, and as you can see, I've got to deal with this ladder to get all the way up and everything, because I don't have a way around this island anymore. But that's why we're back, because that's what I'm gonna fix right now. Because in my big sort of idea for this base and stuff, not only do we have this mountain to look at, but also I kind of want a path somewhat looping around it. And this is why when I was deforesting the island and everything, I kept all of the logs. Is this gonna be much? I don't think so, but we'll see. This is also the one time where I've thrown out all of the sticks, which I could have used for crafting. But let's see, I'm pretty sure I remember this recipe. I think it's a bunch of logs and then a bunch of sticks, am I right? So, yep. And yeah, this is the issue. We've only got like 2 stacks worth. So, right, we have 2 stacks of campfires to work with, maybe a bunch of spruce wood scattered about in many different chests. We've got a bit. And in terms of campfires and everything like that, we're probably just gonna need to do some deforestation later on. But for now, I think basically the easiest way to work on this is just go and fill it all in with spruce slabs, seeing as that is the most common resource, and then we've also got to cover up any areas like that. And then once we have a lot of the wood in place, basically the next step is just kind of go through and break a bunch of it. Then we put in our campfire. We put in the campfires, and for this I actually need to be facing different directions, otherwise they're all just gonna have the logs facing the same way, and I don't think that looks very good. And then once we have thoroughly set my base on fire, we just need to go and put it out. And you guessed it, this is a really boring task, so I'm just gonna skip over it. Whoa, 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 whoa! Yeah, take that! So that's it, I suppose. It's the last day of the server as I'm recording this. Okay, well, kind of. It's the last day where, like, we've actually got an organized event and everything. However, I think the server's up for, like, 24 hours afterwards, just in case. So, officially, this is kind of it. And you know what? I'm happy with it and everything. It's definitely a rushed base and everything. I mean, I think this is the first time where I've ever actually, like, you know, gone, oh, there really isn't much time left, and just finished a thing all at once. And, I mean, you could kind of call it finished. I can see why some people will go, nah, this is not a complete base and stuff. You know, there's parts of it which I initially intended to expand and everything. So, like, you know, we've got the docks over there, which is not really connected to anything. Obviously, this house as well. It was intended to be more, but, like, at the end of the day, I think when you approach from over here and everything, and you look at this, it looks like a nice build and everything. Is it complete? Could it be bigger and everything? Like, it's just nice at the end of the day. And I did debate adding more. I've had plenty of time to like put a house here or something like that, but I don't want to really. I think I actually quite like it as just the empty aesthetic. However, as I said, it's the last day of the server and we do kind of have an event to go to, but if you look down at the bottom of the video, this is the end of this episode. But we are just a little bit away from getting everyone back on the server and going to do something fun together, so I think for now, that is going to be the end of this episode here, but if you would like to see how the end of Just Minecraft goes, then stick around, there'll be a video out soon, and I hope you enjoy.